Welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin if you're new here, and today I'm going to be doing my birth story. I just had a baby. Her name's Audrey. She was born on February 21st. Yeah, and I posted on Instagram a picture asking what you guys wanted to see. I asked if you wanted a birth story or meet our baby / life update, and y'all said both, so I'm gonna do both. But I want to start off with the birth story and then obviously introduce her in the next video. So basically, let me look at my calendar so I can give you dates. On Monday, February 18th, I had been having on and off contractions all day, and as the night came around, they started getting pretty legit. And so I went ahead and went up to the emergency room to get checked just in case, and I was not dilated at all. I was effaced 65%, which is basically like my cervix was thinned. But really nothing had changed. I was just having contractions. So they sent me home after like 5 hours there, which was not fun. Anyway, so then I went home, and then on Tuesday I kept having contractions. So I mean, with your first baby, you don't know what anything feels like, so you kind of just have to go on your gut feeling, which obviously, like, you're nervous, you have thoughts going through your head all the time, so it's hard to gauge like if something's actually happening or if you're just like overthinking it or what's going on. So on Tuesday I was having contractions on and off all day, and again, like, I didn't know. So I had originally had a doctor's appointment on Thursday the 21st, which was actually my due date. Like, I had a doctor's appointment that morning, like set for that morning. But on Tuesday, I went ahead and called and moved it to Wednesday because I was just really not having a good time. I mean, it was painful. She was super low. Like, it just was not, it did not feel good. So I asked to move my appointment to Wednesday. So I went in on Wednesday morning. And throughout my pregnancy, I had high blood pressure towards the end. So like the whole time, no, until the very end. So I went in, blood pressure was still really high. And so my doctor, you know, I asked her, I was like, so what happens if she doesn't come in the next 24 hours? You know, like, what do we do? Because usually my doctor waits at least a week after the due date to induce, because she doesn't want to risk the chance of a C-section. If you go in and you're not dilated at all and they try to induce you, if your cervix doesn't open up, then they have to do a C-section. Like, you have now kick-started your body into pushing this baby out, but your body's not ready, you know what I mean? So she usually waits a week after your due date to induce you, just to give it as much time as she possibly can for your body to naturally go into swing. So on Wednesday morning, I was like, what would you like to do? Because at this point I was like ready to go. I mean, when you get to your due date time / that far along, you can literally feel the baby like there. So it's not comfortable. It does not feel good at all. And plus, contractions had started just randomly, so very uncomfortable. But anyway, my doctor said that we would go ahead and set a date, and I was like, okay, awesome. Like, what date are you thinking? And she was like, well, do you want to have your baby tonight? And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, do you want me to go ahead and induce you tonight? You'll have a baby by noon tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's just go ahead and do this thing. She was like, all right, call the hospital at 5 o'clock and let them know that you're my patient, ask if they have the room ready for you, and if not, then they'll tell you what time to come in. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I call at 5 o'clock, they say come in at 9 o'clock, because they have like 5 people giving birth then, like the time that at 5 o'clock. So 9 o'clock rolls around, we pack up all the stuff, and we get to the hospital. And basically, when I got to the hospital, I checked in with the front desk. I went into labor and delivery. They put me in a room, and then basically it all starts from there. The first thing that happens is they give you an IV in your hand, and I'm not gonna lie, it hurt real bad. Obviously, like, it's totally manageable. It's an IV, like, it's a prick in your hand, but it really does not feel good. I had asked my doctor what the worst part was because she had 3 kids, and she said the IV in the hand, which, you know, if your epidural works, then that should be the worst part of your labor. Anyway, so I got the IV, got through that, and then since I had high blood pressure, they had to put me on magnesium as well, and so basically it just goes in the IV as well. It's just another drip bag thing, and but it makes you really hot. Like, it makes you feel like you have the flu. Like, the nurse told me this is gonna make you feel like you have the flu, and I was like, okay, great, that's wonderful. And so at 9 o'clock, all of that happened, and then my doctor came in, and to go ahead and start softening my cervix, TMI, sorry, don't know, they put this little capsule on your cervix to help it soften and open up. Well, she put that on, and by 1 a.m. I was having contractions so bad that, like, no, can't do it, cannot do it. It literally felt like I was being stabbed. So I went ahead and asked for the epidural, which, like, I was terrified to get the epidural, genuinely. You know, I thought, like, I would start the contractions and then I'd be like, okay, this isn't that bad, like, I don't need it. No, it's seriously, I was like, nope, nope, forget it, just, yeah, no, epidural, please, now, please, sir. The guy came in, basically, I just bent over, a nurse gave me a hug while this happened. It literally feels like someone pinched you, and then you feel like this is gonna sound so weird, it felt like an air bubble in my spine. So it's like, it really does not hurt, actually, interesting enough. You just feel this pressure. It literally feels like, like whenever you burp, an air bubble in your stomach, like, going up, it feels like that in your back. But, like, yeah, it's just the weirdest feeling ever, but it doesn't hurt. And then you feel this cold surge of liquid going through you, and then you can't feel anything, and it's great. Literally, I was laying in the bed, and I could see the contractions going so hardcore that they weren't even on the screen anymore, and I didn't feel one little thing. At that point, I didn't feel anything. So fast forward to, like, I think it was like 7:30, 8 a.m. I started feeling this extreme pressure in my butt, and it started out like, oh man, like, I worked out and my butt is really sore, like, and I'm sitting on it, that kind of feeling. And as we got closer to 9 o'clock, it felt excruciatingly painful as the contractions came. So essentially my epidural wore off by this point. And you can press a button every 15 minutes or so that redoes the medicine. I don't know what was going on, because no, it was not working anymore. Like, the pressure in my butt was absolutely extreme. So the nurse checked me. I was at an 8, and she was like, okay, well, you're at an 8, like, you just got to push through it, essentially. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And so it got worse and worse and worse, and it was like happening rapidly. Well, then I felt this burst, like, literally felt like a bubble, like someone popped it and it, like, burst inside of you, and essentially my water just broke naturally. So that happened, and then that actually might have happened earlier on, and then the pain in my butt started really hardcore. Yeah, it happened earlier. The water happened, then I started getting the pain in the butt, literally. Closer to 9 a.m. I like literally was clenching to the side of the bed because I could feel everything. I told the nurse that I could feel Audrey's head, like, down, like, in the canal. Like, I could feel her head trying, like, I needed to push. I was telling the nurse, like, I need to push right now. And she's like, well, I just checked you. I was like, no, lady, like, I need to push. She checked me again. Sure enough, I was at a 10. Audrey was chilling right there, like, ready to go. And at this point, I had to hold in the urge to push because we were waiting on the doctor. So I was, like, clenching every muscle in my body to try and not push this baby out before the doctor came in here. Obviously, as a first-time mom, I didn't realize that it was going to take more than one push to get her out, but the feeling felt like she was, like, on the verge and it was going to take one push to get her out. No, not the case. So the doctor comes in, Audrey's head was right there, like I said, and I finally got the clear to push. Let me just say, pushing is the most beautiful feeling in the entire world. It's not painful. Like, you've gone through so much pain that pushing actually brings on relief, oddly enough. Like, obviously it hurts because, like, you know, a baby's coming out of you, but it's nothing compared to the contraction. So actually getting to act on the contraction is the most beautiful feeling in the entire world. So basically I pushed for about an hour, I think, like, because we started around like 8:35, something around there, after 8:30, and she was out by 9:16, so 45 minutes, 46 minutes. But it goes by so fast because you're focused on pushing. First would count to 10, I'd push for those 10 seconds, try and gasp for air, push again. She came out great. She weighed 6 pounds 15 ounces. She was 21 inches long. She was born at 9/16, and it went great. Afterwards, let's see. Oh, okay. I had 1st-degree tearing, so I had to get 3 stitches. I felt the stitches. It didn't hurt at all. It just feels like string, like getting string in you. I don't know. It's not painful though, surprising enough. Also, this is also TMI. I don't know how much is TMI. I don't know like what people want to know. But there's a sac that your baby has lived in. It's called a placenta. You have to birth your placenta. So basically you go through the birthing of your baby and then you continue to push to get out your placenta. Well, it's not, that part is not painful at all. Like literally they just, like you're pushing, the baby comes out and the doctor says, stay in that push. Like finish the push, basically. You finish the push and your placenta comes out. Whatever, it's a good deal. Then they press on your tummy to get all the blood clots out and then you're done with that part. So they clean off your baby, they cleaned off my baby, and then came over and put her on my chest, and that was a beautiful moment. She cried for like half a second and then just made cute little noises and looked around. So super sweet. I will say the first 3 days were the hardest thing that I think I've ever gone through, ever. Just because you have this tiny little life that you are now in charge of taking care of, and like, you know, it is a life and she relies solely on you and your partner, or just you specifically, you know, to keep her alive. And that stress slash pressure is extreme because like you love this little baby so much. You don't want anything to happen to her, obviously, but at the same time, like, you don't know what you're doing. I didn't know what I was doing. So the first few days are so hard in the hospital, but they're also the most beautiful because like you realize like, hey, I just had my little baby, you know, like I have my baby now that I've carried for 9 months wondering what she looks like, and here's what she looks like, you know. So yeah, for all you mamas out there or future mamas, I promise once you get home from the hospital and get into the swing of things, it gets easier quite quickly. Actually, in the hospital it's stressful because so many nurses and stuff come in to check you and clean her, and you know, you have to take all these medicines. By the way, in the hospital you have 2 options. You can take the hardcore medicine, or you can just stick to Tylenol if you're not like having major pain. I didn't feel any pain down there at all after. Like, I took Tylenol because they recommended that I took Tylenol, but it was not a big deal at all. Honestly, the thing that hurt the worst was my face from pushing so hard. Like, I'm not joking. I had a terrible headache from the pressure of pushing, which sounds so weird. I did not expect that. Like, people don't tell you that. Like, hey, your face is gonna hurt. Yeah, no, your face will hurt. But anyway, overall, not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Definitely not a good feeling. I definitely would rather my epidural have worked all the way through, because I didn't expect to feel that level of pain and have to like cope with that. Like, I definitely did not prepare enough for coping with that. But overall, I mean, Audrey's almost 5 weeks. She'll be 5 weeks this week, and I can barely remember the amount of pain. Like, it's only been a month and it's already gone. Like, the thought, like the memory of that excruciating pain. Like, I know it hurt, but it's already gone. So obviously it wasn't that bad. But anyway, yeah, I have a lot of cool, she just farted. Hey, are you farting over here? Anyway, my next video is gonna be the meeting our baby / life update, because this clearly is not our apartment. And then after that, I'll get into postpartum stuff for y'all if you want to see it. And then yeah, I'm really excited to get back to making videos. I definitely have missed making videos. There's little things that I want to get back to doing just so I can feel like myself. And this is one of them. So yeah, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and leave any questions or anything down below and I'll be sure to answer that. And yeah, see you on the next video. Here's a little sneak peek of meeting Miss Audrey Beetle. She's taking her little nap in her car seat because we just got home from Target, but yeah, she's taking her little nap and she's precious.